Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and this video. So we're getting closer and closer to Christmas, as I don't know if you can tell, but I'm already starting to live my Christmas dreams. And I was thinking like, okay, what books am I going to read around this Christmas? And I was like, hold on, we have got the classic A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Why don't I know? Charles Dickens? Wow. Basically, that goes to prove the point that I have never read the classic, and I don't even think it's that long, but it's just such an iconic Christmas story that every year we are going to see adaptations of. It's actually quite funny because I'll link an article down below, and basically it just goes into all the different Christmas Carol retellings, and there was like, as in the movies, sorry, and we literally get a new movie for A Christmas Carol so often. And I just feel like, as a reader, for me anyway, I need to read it, and I'm also going to read retellings of it, right? Or I should say consume, because I'm going to watch a couple of the movies as well, because personally I love the concept of retellings and how a single story can capture not even just one audience so massively, but it can capture so many people across so many different years. That the fact that one story, right, could just the fact that it stays a treasure shows, you know what I mean? I just love that. I just find that so amazing. And not only that, I love to see how a single story can mold and change and adapt to what our current society's views are, what we think is missing from the original. Like, I just love to see how that can be manipulated but still have the same idea at its core. Everything about retellings just makes me excited. And also retellings across mediums and what you keep and what you change. And anyway, I'm just gushing at this point. I want to do this with like lots of different classics because, as you can tell, it's something that I would be really interested in doing, but it's Christmas time, so we might as well start with a Christmas themed version. So what am I going to read? I'm going to read A Christmas Carol, but I'm going to listen to the audiobook of it actually, and I'm going to listen to the audible version, which is going to have, I think it has Hugh Grant. So yeah, that should be a really good version actually, and I think that will make it like more accessible. Not that I think it's highly inaccessible, I just think it just sounds fun. And yeah, so I'm gonna listen to that version of it. And then in terms of retellings, I'm thinking of reading A Christmas Carol Murder, because I love murder mysteries. It's my favourite genre, I would say, at the minute anyway. And so when I saw this, I was like, I have to. It screams out to me. So I'm gonna read that retelling as well. I also am thinking about No Promises, because I'm not sure how I'm gonna get on with it. Miss Marley, which is basically a retelling, but it focuses on Marley's sister. So that's interesting. And so yeah, those are the books that I definitely know I want to read. I might change, I might decide to pick up something else, but for now that's what I really want to read. I also want to give a nod to these two books, because these take this idea and add some diversity to it, which I love. And this is part of the reasons why I love retellings, because it's like, we can take a book that was written however many years ago and it's very white and white centric, and we can say, actually, well, like me, other people of color still can enjoy the concept of this story, but we would love to see ourselves represented in that, and they retell it. And anyway, let me stop gushing about retellings. But yeah, that's what I am thinking so far. And yeah, I'll come back to you once I've made a headway into A Christmas Carol. It's not long, it's 2 hours and 44 minutes, so it shouldn't take me too long, and I'm planning to start tonight, so maybe see you soon. I figure I should come and talk to you before I go to bed, and whilst I still have some makeup on. What am I here to tell you? Yeah, I'm here to tell you I started A Christmas Carol, and I'm actually enjoying it. Not that I'm surprised, but I'm just saying it's actually more humorous than I realised. Like, I didn't realise it was funny. Like, I'm not like laughing, but it's humorous. Like, it's not, it's not like dour, it's not like sad, which is interesting, and it kind of makes me understand why there's been so many like comedic retellings of it, obviously, because it inherently contains humor. Like, it's got a humorous tone to it, so that makes sense, even though it does kind of have like a more serious side to it as well, you know. And I think that's kind of what makes the best comedy, I would say, you know, when there's a little bit of another emotion to top off the comedy, you know. If it's just all laugh, it's actually, then it's just like, okay. But when you go low and then you go back here, you're like, oh, that was a great experience. If you read this, then you will understand when I say, so who's writing this book? So he's writing this book? That is a question that I'm probably sure we might get an answer to later. Well, Marley, now for me personally, in my like casual, like social life awareness of the Christmas Carol, I don't know if I explained that very well, but I'm basically saying, like, you know, living in society, I know certain things about A Christmas Carol. And from that, like, I know of Marley. And I didn't know Marley really. And I was like, a bit questioning why everyone keeps talking about this Marley character, right? Is it not the three main ghosts? I'm a bit confused, you know? But then I'm reading it, and obviously you do get to see Marley and stuff like that. But I'm still not really understanding, like, Marley hasn't really captured me, personally. So it's kind of interesting. I'm like, why has Marley captured other people so much? Like, right now, I'm more interested in the nephew. The nephew and the clerk are so far more interesting to me. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we have a bit of a, you know, come back to them, because I know, you know, we know about Tiny Tim. Well, I don't really know about Tiny Tim, but spoiler alert, I know Tiny Tim is dying or something. I remember that from the Muppets Christmas Carol clips that I've watched in my life. But I don't know how Tiny Tim is going to come back into this. How is Tiny Tim related to this? I'm unsure. But anyway, as I was saying, but the reason why I even bring up Tiny Tim is that I'm saying maybe we get more of a conclusion to their story arcs by the end, which is why perhaps there is a more of a question mark surrounding Marley, which is why people feel the need to retell and fill the gaps, is what I'm thinking. But yeah, so far I'm just like, all right. I kind of love how there's no explanations. I mean, it's kind of magical realism, isn't it? It is kind of, when you think about it, like, because it's not really explained. It's just like ghosts. It's just ghosts for vibes, you know. It's just like, you don't know why it's happening, but it's happening, and you just have to be acceptable with that. And I am accepting of that, and I'm not sure why, because usually with magical realism I'm like, okay, so how do you expect me to believe this? But maybe it's because I've grown up with this story that I'm like, yeah, okay, and there's ghosts, you know, like, it is just part of reality that, yeah, okay, I'm reading A Christmas Carol and there's ghosts, there's no need to question it, you know. So I do wonder if that's actually affecting me, because I think that if this was a book written nowadays, I think maybe, perhaps, I'm not saying exactly, but I think I might be a bit more like, okay, but where's the logic, you know? Not that I'm saying that I'm feeling this about this, if you get what I'm saying. I actually really like the writing. And I don't actually know when this was written, but you can tell that it's newer in the range of classics. But yeah, you can definitely tell from the way that this is written that this is on the newer English spectrum. So that's kind of interesting, which means you kind of can just jump right into it. It's not really much of a barrier to reading it, because you kind of understand everything. If anything, you don't really understand maybe all of the context of everything, because there are lots of context things that are in this. Like, there's lots of mentions of religion. I don't know if it's lots, but it's lots for me. Like, it's notable that they have mentioned like religion more than once, which I kind of makes sense because it's around Christmas time. So obviously, you know, Christmas, Jesus, like, you know, so that does make sense to me. It was also very interesting for me to see them reference Shakespeare in this, because, like, in my head, you know, and I think maybe in a lot of other people's heads as well, you just kind of lump all like old literature together. And so when he referenced Shakespeare, it's kind of weird to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so long after Shakespeare that Shakespeare is infamous in the way he's infamous now, but you are also old too, and you have also become infamous. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of weird. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take off my makeup. I'm gonna wind down for the night, and I'll come back to you when I finish, because there's no point me updating you again. No, hiya. But I actually do kind of need you to be up here, because that's the only place where you can't really see the glare from my home glasses. When I bring you down, now it's not as good. But my arms, man. Ooh. Anyway, we're gonna have to bring you down. Basically, all I'm here to say is that I finished A Christmas Carol. Today, actually. It's been like 2 days since I started it, which really and truthfully, it didn't need to drag out that long. But I don't know, November's reading just hasn't been popping off, so that's interesting. But yeah, I finished it now. So I'm debating whether I should start A Christmas Carol Murder or Miss Marley. Miss Marley is short, which is kind of like really ideal, and you know what, the shortness is also like, I don't know, it feels very linked to the shortness of Christmas Carol, the original. So that's interesting. But I kind of think I'm going to start A Christmas Carol Murder, and hear me out, because I haven't read a murder book in ages, and I'm starting to think that that's why my November reading is going slower. And on top of that, I also need to, what else do I need to do? Words. Also, Miss Marley gives me more Christmas vibes than A Christmas Carol Murder, so I want to read it closer to Christmas. Anyway, yeah, so I think that if I read it like Christmas Carol Murder, Miss Marley, and then The Afterlife, that'll be like a good order of like serious, not serious, serious, not serious, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna go listen to A Christmas Carol Murder, but also I'm gonna go and do my makeup as well, and I guess I'll come back to you after I've done my makeup to show you how A Christmas Carol Murder is going so far. So should we do a transition? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Did that work? Hopefully that worked. We'll see. I did just like click 10 billion times. Here's the Christmas makeup. I mean, it's not full glam, even though, to be honest, it is like a full face. But it's not like I didn't like put on like proper foundation and stuff like that. I just kind of, because it's actually late in the evening, and it's not late. It's actually not late. It's a Friday night at like 6 o'clock. That speaks volumes about my social life. Yeah, it's not late, but it's just like I'm not going out, so I'm not going to do like a full face to sit in my house. I'll do this much for YouTube. Anyway, all of that to say, it's Christmas time. Right, I listened to the first 54 minutes, 54:40, so about first 55 minutes. I've still got 7 hours and 12 minutes left, so I'm not far into it at all. But I can tell you more what it's about, because I didn't really know what it was about, apart from the fact that it was called A Christmas Carol Murder. So basically, what this is about Charles Dickens. It's not got the characters, like it's not set in A Christmas Carol. It's about a murder that happens with Charles Dickens, which I assume will lead to him, will inspire him to write A Christmas Carol. I'm actually really excited because, as I said, I really enjoy mystery. So to have this mystery going on, I am a bit like, oh, okay. And I just find it really interesting right now to see how much of the characters are like drawn upon, where is he getting that inspiration. However, this is in real life. I'm not sure like what actually inspired Charles Dickens to write A Christmas Carol is basically what I'm saying. And so because of that, I'm just like, I just find it so funny how we even get a story and we start like fictionalizing and romanticizing what led them to write that story that we love so much. I just love it. Anyway, yeah, so I just think it's really interesting. Right now, I'm having such a fun time when they introduce someone with like a similar name to one of the characters or has traits of one of the characters. It's just so interesting to me because I'm like, oh my god, and you can see like the links to it right now. I'm really enjoying it. Also, I didn't actually tell you what my final thoughts were of A Christmas Carol. My final thoughts of A Christmas Carol was it was good. No, it was good. It definitely was. I actually enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't a standout favorite because I already like knew everything that was gonna come. Like, it was just like, you know, but I still think I really appreciate reading it for the first time because now I know. Does that make sense? Now I know, and like when I see retellings, I have the actual original in my head to refer back to. Like before, I would never have known like how much religiousness was in the original. It was in the original. I wouldn't have known the humor. That was actually the biggest thing for me. The humor in it, like I didn't realize it was so humorous, because I think that a lot of times we see A Christmas Carol is like kind of made more serious, because there are serious topics in it. You know, it's about, you know, the actual idea of it has, and some of the content is quite serious, as it's serious moments, but the writing is actually quite humorous. And so what I'll say about A Christmas Carol Murder is that so far it's kind of dropped that humour, and this is what I'm kind of referring to. It's not funny in the same way that A Christmas Carol was. Obviously I wasn't like ha 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 laughing, but it did have that jokey kind of humorous undertones to it, you know, and it was kind of light as opposed to heavy. Like even though we were talking about heavy things, it was kind of light and more joyful, more Christmassy. Whereas A Christmas Carol Murder, I mean obviously it's murder, but it's not like, oh, Christmas Carol Murder is in like, ooh, like fun hijinks. Not that murder ever is, but you get what I mean. Like it's not like a upbeat cozy, kind of like a cozy mystery. It's not really like a cozy, it's more like a mystery, a historical mystery. Okay, if you're following, if you get one, put it down, then yeah, that's what I was saying. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. As I said, I've only listened to an hour of it, which you're thinking, okay, but if you didn't do a full face of makeup, how come it took you an hour? Don't be disrespectful, because I listened to it at 2 times speed, so it took me like 25 minutes to do this, and like before I came back to you. Okay, jeez. Then we haven't fight you lots, cussing like, oh, it took you 15 minutes to do that. Rude. Nobody actually said that. I need to de-trigger myself. I keep thinking like, when is the best time to watch these movies? Because I actually think now would be a good time, but I'm actually not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not interested in the movies. Like I'm really not. Like I'm really not. And I don't know what to do about that actually, because like, I don't know, I think I am just expecting much more of a serious vibe. I think the first one that I'm gonna watch, maybe because I did read the review and I was saying like it's more serious, and I'm just a bit like, I don't know, because I want to watch the actual closest retelling first. Well, that was what I was planning to do. I wanted to watch the closest retelling first, and then kind of watch like the humorous ones and the less sticking to the actual script ones later. But I think I might have to switch it up and watch like Scrooge, which I think is like a funny retelling of it, because otherwise I don't know when I'm going to read it. Hi, I figured we would talk whilst I'm here organising my box of books. You can't even see. It's right here. Okay. Oh, I'm continuing on with, what's it called? I'm continuing on with The Christmas Carol Murder. And it's interesting. It is. Why am I saying it like that? Oh no, I'm still interested. So they've mentioned like the inspiration of Marley, and the inspiration of Marley has a sister, which I just kind of think is kind of interesting, because maybe it's me. I'm starting to think, did I miss a scene? Did I like zone out when reading it? Because I do not remember Marley's sister being in the book. Am I tripping? Maybe, probably. I just don't remember that bit. So I'm a bit like, I just dang it. Also, I'm reminded right now that I don't actually have that many books above my bed. I have more in stacks next to my bookshelves. Oh, also, yeah, anyway, let's not talk about it. But yeah, that's it. That's what I have to say really about the fact that they mentioned Marley's sister in this, and I'm like, another mention of Marley's sister, I don't really quite get it. I don't. I mean, I get one story, but the constant references to Marley's sister. I mean, I remember Scrooge having a sister who died. Is that where I'm getting confused? Is it Marley's sister who died? Maybe that's where I'm confused, because this whole time I'm thinking, okay, Scrooge has a sister, Scrooge's sister died. No, but it is Scrooge, because Scrooge has a nephew. I'm very confused. I might have to go and like have a look at the ebook and stuff and see if I can search for Marley's sister, because I'm really not understanding all this inspiration. Where's this inspiration coming from? And it's not just one. But yeah. So guys, right now I'm wrapping some presents to play a round of wraps up. And I'm listening to this thing and they keep referring to people as savages, and I'm a bit like, is that necessary? Now I am going to check when this was written, but I'm like, in this modern day and era, like, we understand like that, I don't know, Charles Dickens would have had some questionable views, right? But why do you have to include that? Like, it doesn't really add anything to the story to call people savages. No, like, it really doesn't, because I suppose you're not reading it, so you don't even understand. But like, that, like, oh, her name, oh, she must be American unless she's a savage. Does that add anything? Really and truthfully, does it? It was released in October last year. I don't quite understand. I mean, I get it, I do, but I just don't think it's necessary. And I think that, especially because that was absent from A Christmas Carol, like, it was one of them rare classics where, you know, we didn't have to be like, oh god, look, here we go, we're hit over the head with like racist views and stuff like that. That's really refreshing. But then to kind of have it bit added back in a retelling is just so backwards to me. Like, I just don't understand. Like, it's not really going to change my opinion of the book as of yet right now, but it's just something that I just wanted to know. Like, is it necessary in this year of 20? Okay, well, I'm reading in this year of 2022, but in the year of 2021 when it was written, I think let's do better. Let's do better. I mean, I don't know about Charles Dickens as a person. He's probably racist. So, and I know this is retelling kind of Charles Dickens' story. But again, is it necessary? I think not. I do want to say I'm very interested now as I'm listening. I keep thinking, I wonder how much of this is fictionalized and how much of this is drawing upon Charles Dickens' real life. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to go searching into his life too hard, because then am I going to find something that's going to upset me? Perhaps. And I'm updating you to say that I finished A Christmas Carol Later. I finished it. What did I think? I thought it was good. I actually thought it was good. I feel like I saw who was the murderer from the very beginning. So like, the moment the character was introduced, I was like, you did it. And I also kind of am a bit like, it's kind of rough because you don't want to stray too far away from the original and turn one of the original players into someone that they're not, to make the mystery more mysterying. So I do understand that. So overall, I did enjoy it. Like, I think it was good, but I do feel like it kind of made it feel more old. It made A Christmas Carol feel more old worldy and highbrow than I felt that it was, you know, which is fine. But yeah, it just kind of felt like it made it more serious than the actual book was. And I feel like I might see that a couple times in this. Actually, I feel like sometimes with classics people like to turn it into a highbrow thing, and I'm like, I don't even think it was that highbrow. Let's just relax. I would have really appreciated like a little author's note or something at the back. I mean, I did listen to the I did listen to the audiobook, so I'm not sure if the physical would have had it, but just explaining like how much of this is true to Charles Dickens's actual life, because it was very based around Charles Dickens's life. So I'm like, how much, like, I need to know how fiction is this. Like, is this just a fake Charles Dickens, or is this like, oh yeah, well, we know he had this person who he was engaged to, and we know that, you know what I mean? I kind of would love to know that, and I think that would really boost my overall enjoyment. That's it, I'm done. I'm kind of almost ready to read like Miss Marley, which I'm a bit like, do I? Because I haven't watched any of the movies yet. And if I read Miss Marley's only like 3 hours long. I'm going to finish that in like no time, and then we're going to be like almost at the end of the video and I haven't watched a single movie despite saying I was going to watch a movie. I'm sorry. I apologise. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going out today to Oxford Street, which is nice. We're going to Oxford Street, watching Black Panther as well, which is nice. And yeah, so I doubt I'll listen to much of it today anyway. So maybe I'll watch the movie tonight when I get... Actually, I'm lying. I'm not watching a second movie today. So maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Nonetheless, a very bad man suddenly decides to terminate just in time for Christmas Day.
Doctor, I can't hear you. What is that? Is that singing?
The Christmas Carol.
A what?
The Christmas Carol.
A what?
The Christmas Carol.
Doctor?
Kaz Ransard.
Doctor!
Merry Christmas, Kaz Ransard.
How are you tonight? I'm a ghost of Christmas past.
Mrs. Bentamani will be after you tonight.
Yo. Ah, gosh. Making a fucking mess. Yo. I'm sorry, I'm making myself laugh while shaking you about all over the place. Get a grip, my love. Sorry, I made myself a little thing of pomegranate and it's on my table and so are you. Hello, can you see me okay? Shut up. Timmy, shut up. Why am I here? I'm here to tell you. Let's calm down. Clearly, I need some decorum. Guys, I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? Because I can't find the 2019 Christmas Carol series anywhere. It's not anywhere. It was with the BBC. Okay, that's fine. BBC iPlayer, it's not there. And so I'm like, okay, well, what can I do next? Can I look at BritBox at least? It's not there. So what is a girl supposed to do? How am I supposed to live, love in these conditions? Calm down. I'm calm. Right now, I'm just going to go double check Prime because I know you can buy it off of Amazon. But it's like, I don't want to buy it when it was free. It was free for me to watch. So why should I buy it? Make it make sense. Oh, this is a 2019 movie. Oh, this is really stressing me out. It's stressing me out, mate. It's stressing me out. Oh, life is really hard to tell you guys. Life's not easy, honestly. What a fucking nightmare. So, what am I gonna watch? Guys, what am I gonna watch? Guys and girlies, what am I gonna watch? To be honest, I do keep seeing the 1997 or 1977 version of A Christmas Carol everywhere. Like, that's the consensus of A Christmas Carol. But I'm like, no. Have you watched that on TikTok? It's like, oh, one thing that's great about being in Australia is I eat them vowels with no. Like, no. I literally need to keep telling myself to calm down because I've got way too much energy right now. Way too much energy. You know when you start to piss yourself off? That's me right now. Don't look at me being ghetto because I lost the back of my remote. Oh, but whilst I'm here, why don't I tell you? So I was looking, as I said, I was trying to search for my Christmas Carol because I was like, geez, like, do you know the urge to just listen to Miss what's the brother? Marley. I really just want to listen to Miss Marley, like, just so badly. And I'm like, no, Kim, you have to watch at least one movie first. So I tried, I looked up, guess what I saw the Doctor Who Christmas Carol version. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was 10 out of 10. Let me tell you something. Matt Smith era of Doctor Who, unparalleled. I'm so sorry. It stopped here. He's my favourite Doctor. Matt Smith is my favourite Doctor. And it was amazing. I almost wanted to come to tears at the end of that episode. It was highly moving. I am being slightly dramatic, but at the same time, I really had a good time. And I was like, I haven't watched Doctor Who, a rerun of Doctor Who, in a long time. Because I'm not trying to hate on women. So I won't tell you what I think of the most recent seasons. But the thing is, I know I'm going to have to do a rewatch soon anyway, because when the new Doctor comes in, I want to watch him. So, gosh, it's really hard for me. We're having a bit of a, whatchamacallit? We're having an argument, we're having a disagreement, me and Doctor Who right now. But that episode, I had a good time. And it was Rory era. It was amazing. I mean, my sister's always like, oh no, David Tennant's the best. And you know what? I can accept that David Tennant is amazing, right? I can. But when I started loving Doctor Who via Matt Smith, he was my Doctor. And then I went back and watched from Christopher Eccleston. So really and truthfully, yeah, he was really good, but I don't have that same emotion, that same attachment that I do to Matt Smith. Anyway, let me shut the hell up.
Yes. Quite dead.
Hey guys, do I look tired? It's probably because I low-key am. But I'm just coming to tell you that I watched A Christmas Carol, the animated 2009 version, because I had to give up on the 2019 BBC series. It wasn't coming. Everywhere I went, I was not allowed to watch it. So I was like, you know what? I need to watch a movie because I was doing so well. I was reading all of the books like literally one day as the days were passing. I was reading them one after the other. But yeah, then that happened. Anyway, so I finally watched. I started it last night, but I fell asleep. I fell asleep like 10 minutes in, so I continued it today. And yeah, so that next weekend. Oh, should I tell you actually about the film? That's why I'm here, not just a chat. The 2009 version. It's actually really good. It's actually really good. Like, it follows very closely to the actual book. Like, I don't know. I didn't really expect it to be so on beat. Like, actually, a lot of the word, it used the same words. It didn't change up the words or modernize it, or it was actually very, very close and shocking, and it was really good. And then it had Jim Carrey and Colin Firth in it. I had a good time. I feel it was really good. It actually kept me entertained, which is funny. I didn't expect it to, low-key, which is what I kind of think of the Muppets Christmas Carol. I just think, just imagining the high-pitchedness of a Muppets Christmas Carol right now is giving me a headache. Although, that's also what I wanted to say. I have a headache. It's very mild. I actually think I have a migraine. But I don't know. I've never had a migraine. I don't know what other people feel like when they have a migraine. But for the past 2 days, I've had a low-key migraine. Today is the best it's been, but it's starting to come back. Like, it's just very low right now. I can't have my lights too bright. Like, that's just a lamp that I have that's on. It's not my main lights. I can't have my lights on too bright because otherwise it just gives me a headache. It just gives me a headache. I've been very productive today, but I've also been not feeling great today. Don't know, I can't explain it to you. If I was to rate this movie on a scale of retellings, 5 out of 5. On a scale of general enjoyment, 4 out of 5. You know? Yeah. I know what other movies I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna watch The Man Who Invented Christmas, just because I think that's also about Charles Dickens, kind of like A Christmas Carol murder. And I think I'll also watch Spirited, which is the new Ryan Reynolds film. All right, I'll see you guys later because I can't even talk. I can't even talk to you lots right now. My head is just banging, but I'll see you lots later. Hi guys, I'm literally just here to say I'm so exhausted. It doesn't even make any sense. It actually doesn't even make any sense. I'm lying. I do know what I'm going to do. I'm going to now, I'm just going to lean into it, and I'm going to put on The Man Who Invented Christmas, and watch that instead of doing anything with my life, because I just cannot be bothered. Fun. I'm really sorry the energy has just dropped, but I'm sorry. Let's watch a man. Although, I'm not even going to make it through, because last time I did this, I promptly fell asleep, but 10 minutes into it. So, we'll see how far I get into it.
Scribd! Ah! What? You're not... What are you doing in here?
I've just come to see to the fire, sir.
Not to be interrupted under any circumstances, do you hear?
I beg your pardon, sir. It won't happen again.
As I'm editing this, I realised that I never actually spoke about what I thought about The Man Who Invented Christmas. And I have to say, guys, I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun to see, you know, the history of Charles Dickens and him creating this, because I didn't really know much about Charles Dickens before this. You know, I personally, he's not somebody that I had invested a lot of time and thought into before reading A Christmas Carol, apart from the fact that, you know, oh, he's just a famous author. And so it was really interesting, especially when I'm consuming so much Christmas Carol content. It was very interesting for me to just see a bit behind the curtain. And yeah, I do think it's funny, like how the story has become so big that the author has also become big. Like the story of the author is now also big. But yeah, I just thought it was a movie that you could rewatch every Christmas. It was absolutely amazing. Seeing the things that gave him inspiration, seeing the liberties that they took, but you know, also while keeping quite true to history, was really nice. And yeah, I would definitely highly recommend. Just popping in to say that I started and finished Miss Marple yesterday. It was 5 stars. It was 5 stars. But that's a preview. Right now I'm going to go and I'm going to watch Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, if memory serves correctly. And then I'll come back and talk to you.
Do people really change? I mean, real, lasting, positive change? I sure hope so, because we are in the business of change.
Please. Please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I won't yell at the neighbors' kids anymore. I'll take back the claim against the Johnsons, even though that treehouse is a flagrant violation. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, and we're done. This video is over. I should come to you caroling though, with a candle. No, I've read Miss Marley yesterday, and I've watched Spirited today. I've officially read and watched everything the Christmas Carol that I think I'm going to put in this vlog, because I could continue. Honestly, the way I'm feeling, I didn't expect this. If I was making a prediction from the start of this video, I would have said I would have got burnt out on Christmas Carol content. But actually, I haven't, which I find very intriguing. And I guess it shows that I really, like that storyline, because I really consumed it in a lot of different ways, and I'm excited even to consume it in more ways. And I'm excited to maybe consume it more next year, or to consume it more outside of this vlog, which is literally crazy to me. Like, I've watched 3 films, I've read 3 books. How much more Christmas Carol content do you need to do, hear me? But it's okay. Yeah, let me just quickly tell you about what I thought of the last 2 things before I leave you with this. So Miss Marple, I gave it absolutely 5 stars. It's absolutely amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So this is basically the story of Marley's sister. So in the actual Christmas Carol, we don't really hear of much about Marley's story actually at all. We know obviously that he died, because it starts with the book, like literally the first line of A Christmas Carol starts with Marley was as dead as a doornail. Like, that was absolutely sure, something like that. That's the first line. So we don't really actually hear much about Marley, apart from the fact that he was a Scrooge. You know, he was really nasty. So this kind of like delved more into his story and why he was like that. And they've given him a sister, and you do see Scrooge in it, but it isn't about Scrooge. It's not about Scrooge. And it is about Marley, but it's not even really 100% about Marley either. It's about his sister. And it was short, and it was sweet, and it was lovely. I didn't cry, although I could have cried. If it was longer, I would have cried. But I was just touched, is what I will say. So yeah, it follows them. Obviously, thinking about the time period this was, and Charles Dickens's content in his books, and also A Christmas Carol, you're gonna kind of get a vibe for some of the things that's going to be involved. It starts when they were kids and they were in poverty. They used to be in work. They've escaped. It starts with them. They've escaped from a workhouse, and that's all I'll tell you. But they're on the streets. That's how him and his sister start life. And from there, I guess you can kind of see where the narrative is going with why Marley ends up the way he does. And it's kind of tragic. It's kind of tragic because it's like, you understand why he is the way he is, but also he is a horrible person to other people. But it's just, I think that's just a tragic storyline to me. I think that is actually the saddest one of all of them. Okay, because it's a human sadness. It's not even about ghosts really. I'm not going to spoil it or say if there is a little bit of ghosts or no ghosts or whatever, but I would just say that it's not a ghost story in the way that A Christmas Carol is. And so that's what I want to say. Like, it's about, I guess, ordinary evil more so. Like, just, and the evil of life and hardship, and how a hard life can turn any man's heart to hardness. Well, not any man, but it can easily turn your heart hard to stone. So yeah, it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was too short for me to stop and talk to you about it. I literally just put it on and it ended, and I was like, and I was like colouring, and I was like, this is amazing. I think it was the best book that I read for this. Easily, hands down. If I was thinking about the books that I've read for this, even though they're starting to fade, I'm a bit like, I would say this is my favourite. This is the one that has touched me. I mean, I would actually have to say, I really like A Christmas Carol, which is making A Christmas Carol rise in my estimations, like the actual book. Because clearly I love the story so much, and there's so much that we can expand on and we can explore. All I can say is that I must really love the original story, because I enjoyed the original book and I thought, yeah, I enjoyed it. But no, Kimmy, you actually really, really, really enjoyed it, because here you are still, I won't say jonesing, still eager for some more Christmas Carol stuff. So that was Miss Marple. So I would say that's definitely my best book. If you want a recommendation of which book to read outside of A Christmas Carol, it would definitely be that book. That is the book, Miss Marley. It's on Scribd if you're in the UK. Definitely check it out. It's good. The audiobook was great. Definitely. Now, what did I think of Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell? This was a star-studded cast. Like, there was lots of stars in it. I wasn't expecting that. I knew it had those two, but I thought like those two were the main famous faces. But there were lots of famous faces. Lots and lots of famous faces. And it was a musical. Who knew? I didn't know that. I actually did not know that at all. And I didn't know the plot line of it going into it either. And I don't want to really tell you. All I will say is that it is very modernized. And I actually really appreciated it. I think it was missing from what I had watched so far and what I had read so far also. A lot of the stuff was, you know, romanticizing or staying in that old past, because, you know, I do think there was sort of a romanticized view of Scrooge and that time period. Like, that time period and the London location is almost a character in and of itself. So I feel like a lot of people and a lot of the retellings, they make sure to keep that unspoken character. They make sure to keep the character of London in that time in their retellings, whereas this was like, no, we're gonna modernize it. And I think that it was kind of interesting to see like how much stuff from the central idea of the story how much we kind of still need that in real life, like how the world is still needs some Christmas joy, because when you're looking at Karens and you're looking at the internet and Twitter and the vitriol, right, that you can see online, it's horrible. And you kind of think, like, yeah, we probably do need some Christmas spirits to come and help us out a bit. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it wasn't like a serious thing. I think as soon as you start it, you'll see that you shouldn't take this seriously at all. Like, just go in and have a good time. Like, do not, because if you are looking at this critically, this is not going to be a favorite film, in my opinion. It's not anything like that. But yeah, I will say the diversity, oh my god, I love to see it. There was so many different color faces, black and brown, and faces in different sizes and shapes, and it was amazing. I actually loved seeing it so much, and that is what I love to see. Like, it was very quiet. Well, I don't know if I noticed it, but to me it was very quiet. It wasn't in your face. It was just like, even it was about the extras for me. The extras was just a mix and range of lots of different people, lots of different ethnicities, lots of different body shapes, and lots of different sexualities and haircuts and personalities. And you could just see, just by like, they're all doing the same dance, like they're all part of one routine. But I was just looking at them and I was like, this is what I need. This is what I need. Okay? When you're doing retellings of things in 2022, please, there's no reason why you can't diversify your cast. It was amazing. I absolutely love to see it. And it really made me feel very happy to watch the group ensembles in this. It did. But anyway, there we go. That's everything. I was saying that my favourite movie was The Man Who Invented Christmas. I really enjoyed that, and I can see myself rewatching that. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think Spirited, I'm not that likely to rewatch it over and over again, but it was a good time when I watched it. And Christmas Carol, the one that I watched, it was a good one, but I can't say that I would go to that specific retelling. In fact, I'd probably go and have a look around and watch other Christmas Carol retellings, just so that I can see how different people have put it on the big screen. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this and watched this and found this like kind of semi-informative or kind of semi-interesting. Not really informative, but interesting to see what my thoughts were on all of the different retellings, and just to kind of just have a conversation about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, because this will be going up sometime in Vlogmas. I'm not sure what shape Vlogmas is taking at the minute, but yeah, please like and subscribe to see more Christmassy content from me. And in the words of Tiny Tim, God bless us, everyone.